Yeah, yeah, I'm tired, man. I'll be right back. Oh man. Yeah, yeah, man. These past couple days taking it out of me. Yesterday, I was up on this balcony, third story. It was basically a deck, I guess you can call it, and was replacing the wood, and it was way overdue, and pretty treacherous, and just right in the sun, and it was it was brutal, man, totally brutal. Just getting baked by the sun, No shade at all. I mean, you know, there's nothing to be shaded by, you know. So we were just up there, totally exposed, and you know, on all fours, you know, pulling nails and um, pulling boards and just getting cooked, man. And it kind of makes you sympathize for the dudes that are like that, like roofing and stuff is like their, like that's their job, you know. I've done roofing too. I mean, that stuff can be pretty brutal. First like, well, thanks, John. Right on. Is this a trip that you're looking forward to, CJ? Or or no? Is this a chore that you are not looking forward to? The cameras are going off. Yeah, I second that. Well, not everybody. I don't really care if everybody subscribes. I just want people that dig what I do to subscribe. That way they continue to return. You know. Or medical. With a poop emoji. Some of that medical poop. I sound sad. That's how I sound, man. You know, it's probably because you used to being on YouTube and everybody being like, all right, fam, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by here. Subscribe, like, and share. Yeah. You know, and you think they really act like that? Like when they're hanging out with their family? Hey, Mom, can you pass the salt? Thanks. That's a character. You know, it's because people have no attention span anymore. So they have to do whatever they can just to get people to, you know, continue to pay attention to them. And I don't really give a shit if they do or not. You know, I'm not trying to keep people's attention. Yeah. right, fam. Said, don't call me fam. You don't fucking know me. You know? And I don't know you. This is the Bam fam. Yeah, I can't handle it either. It's just too fake and too plastic. You know? Because I just look at it, I imagine this person like behaving this way, standing next to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, I'm going to go stand over here. This guy's fucking out of his mind. You know? What's up, buddy? I need some directions. Don't talk to me. Calm down, man. I don't know. For them, it works. You know? I mean, you look at it. You look at their channel, and they always have, like, at least 200 people in there. Sometimes a few thousand. Right? Get on the hype wagon. Yeah, man. And it's because they understand YouTube. They understand that the majority of the people on here are children. And they spend the majority of their time playing video games or looking at TikTok, and they all have TikTok brain. They can't pay attention for longer than 30 seconds, unless they're being fed constant shit, Yeah. I mean, some people have gone as far as to have like their shorts, they'll have like them talking, and then like on the side, they'll have like some other crap going, you know, just so the person will keep watching, and they're not even really watching them. They might go back and forth between whatever it is, you know. But okay. Alrighty then. We're gonna see how we do here. See how we do. Yeah. Right. No, that's funny. I'd hope not. I mean, we're not in Japan, right? I mean, this has access to Japan, right? And they're into that stuff. You know, people that don't know, they think that I'm like talking crap and whatever, but it's just true. They have dirty underwear vending machines. You know, it's just true. 1 second here. I'll be back to chat with you. If you're new, I build coils, and yeah, not always, but I do it often. Okay. Live performances in Japan. Um, um, oh, the bands that come out of Japan are pretty crazy. Um, like I'm not into any of the stuff, you know. Like I have yet to hear. Well, there's one band that's all right that I know of. I'm sure there's more, right? I'm not going to mention the band's name, but yeah, they're not into that type of shit. But I know what you're talking about. Um, you know, like um, just big money into the theater type. Live performances, not bands. Okay, then what are you talking about? Because I've seen live performances by bands that are like way over the top. You know, I've even seen instances where uh, some of the production stuff is like fallen on some of the people, and um, you know, I don't know if they survived or not. But what are you talking about? Like, what's an example? Oh, live sex performances. No, I haven't. But that doesn't surprise me. that really doesn't. Um, I'm not talking shit, right? Um, some of the stuff they're into is just fucking weird, and I think that recognizing that and being like, hey, that's weird, isn't talking shit, you know. It's just recognizing that it's weird and making a comment. Um, Here's a way to think about it. If a country makes it a law that all the cameras have to have a shutter sound, like when you take a picture and it goes chink or whatever, if they make it a law that all the cameras need to have that sound, right? You know, you start to kind of wonder, huh? Especially when you learn why that has become a law. Then you go double, huh? Okay, that country is fucking weird. It's true. It's totally true. I've asked people about it in Japan, because I heard about it and I looked up why, and it's like, huh. So then I ended up going to watching a live. This person spoke English, was in Japan, and I was like, hey, you know, I've heard this is a law, and I've heard this is why. And they were like, yeah, that it's a law, and that's why. Yeah, to me that's weird. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe like I could see drugs being legal, being a tourist thing, or maybe like really fancy drinks or food, scenery, right? But um, you know, to think that there's enough weirdos out there that a country could, base part of their tourism on that, it's kind of weird. But what I can respect about that is the girly boys over there. Um, what's up, babe? Uh, they will tell you, yeah, I'm a dude. Like what happens here in America and other westernized parts of the world where people actually believe that you can change sex. Like I put on a dress and I cut this off and I add this. I've become a woman. now, and you need to address me as a woman and all that other stuff. Those people think that's crazy. I can respect that because it is. It's fucking crazy, you know. So as weird as it is that those people are into all that weird shit, at least they're like kind of grounded in reality, you know. Hey baby, how you doing? No, I haven't. You told me to text you when it happens. I will do that. You know. Um See, I don't know if you can even see with my alerts. They're not, you know, nothing from Hilltop. Yeah, there are red light districts for that type of behavior. But you know, it's never enough, right? Because people want to live that way, you know, in the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? And they want to call us, I mean, you know, oppressive for not allowing them to do it when, in fact, that behavior is being forced on the rest of us. And they, in fact, are the oppressors. But, you know, good luck getting anybody that suffers from victim mentality to understand these things. Burb. But we're turning that right the fuck down. I don't work, okay? I help people. And I'm helping someone tomorrow, yes. supposed to be up there. I asked her, if I could show up at 9 o'clock. Oh, have to drive to the big city. How long of a drive is that? I asked her if it was okay if I showed up at 9, and she said it'd be better if I did at 9:30 because it's her son's first day of school tomorrow, and get back to school, and she has to be sure that he gets there and walks in and doesn't sneak off, and the kid kind of seems like a headache. I'm not one to tell anybody how to raise their kid, but I think facial spankings would fix a whole lot. You know, went into town today for practice in an hour. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I think it's crazy. Like, you see kids today that like tell their parents no. You know what I'm saying? Like, a kid will like be asked to do this or do that. Could you pick up toys? Could you do this or whatever? We're not doing that right now. Can you whatever it is, and the kid's like, no. What? I don't understand it. Like, that never ever would have flown in my house growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, to tell my mom no? Oh, dude. $100 in beef jerkies and salad for the trip. Huh. Jerky is spendy. That is true. I've found this one, and like, yeah, I spent $100 on beef jerky, and this is what they gave me, right? But I found this this place that sells jerky, right? And it's like this Korean barbecue jerky, and the amount that you get is crazy compared to, like, I don't know, just like your regular companies. Um, it's actually like a deal, and compared to what you normally get. Um, I don't remember the ounces or whatever that you get in it, but I mean, I can tear up some jerky. Right. Normally, like, you buy like a bag of jerky, it costs you like $15 or something, and you can eat that thing like easily in a sitting, because there's like, I don't know, 10 pieces in there or something retarded. And yeah, $6 for a kilogram. Yeah, I want to say that this was like um, around a pound, right? And it was like $11, something like that. It it it. As soon as the store gets it, it's gone. I've only found it a few times there, and it's just you're lucky if you see it, because it just gets gobbled up. And the shit's good. It's not like you know cheap because it's shit. Um, I would say it's cheap because that's what it should frickin' cost. Yeah, I know, babe. Um, uh, I'm familiar with the weights. You know, you know what I used to do, right, babe? Like my old job. um, yeah, 2.2. I mean the 4.62. 2.2 is just kind of what it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, whatever. Okay, this is gonna drive me nuts. Yeah, that's a pretty you're cutting it pretty tight with that decimal point. Oh wow. Yeah, I used to like um, the old places like that. Clear Lake's uh, meat section was like that. They had a butcher in the back, and my older brother used to work there before he went crazy. And he was, he knew how to cut and do all that shit. And you can go in there and watch the guys work. It was pretty cool. So this morning I decided to put in a fuse Clapton, one of these guys. It's the first time I've tried vaping on one. It ended up ohming out much different than that stupid ass thing told me it was ohming. You know, it was said, something crazy, you know, but it ohmed out at like 0.12. Oops. So I've got it on the Mac burb. And it's working out pretty good. Oops. Right. Well, I also tightened the screws down a little bit more and cut the legs off, and so that they gave me a more accurate reading. It's running at 0.12. Oops, no wonder it wasn't cutting. There we go. So, but it's I've been running this thing all day, but so the battery's not fully charged anymore, but it warms up pretty fast. And when you've got the right build on a Mac, I really wish this was like more like a 1.0 or a 0.09. But the right build on a Mac, it really can't be beat. It's just instant power, instant. Sure, these guys, they're great, but yeah, fresh battery does does wonders. That's what's cool about regulated mods. You know, is you can vape them down to essentially 3.2, and they'll still be rocking for you. Oh, right on. Hoping I can get one more out of this. I don't think this is going to be long enough, though. We'll see. Oh my gosh, just enough. Legs are pretty short, though. Lithcore. Yeah, I haven't heard of those guys. I try to stay away from new battery companies. I'm sure that there's some out there that are decent, but in my experience, just being part of the vape world for so long, a lot of them, what they do is, you'll have like some startup company, and all they really are is a company that rewraps um, old batteries. Not that they're old, but other companies' batteries that weren't selling. You know, and they put some snazzy new logo on it or whatever, and I don't remember who did this, but they tested a bunch of batteries and found out that a lot of these battery companies that exploded onto the market when vaping became popular were essentially all the same batteries with different names. So I try to use like LG, Samsung, and what was the other one? These are Samsung. LG, Samsung, and some other company, I can't remember. Huge smoked dog bones. Are these for dogs, or is this for like beef broth or something? I had Thai food last night. Um, I got home pretty late, and Brianna had already cooked, and I didn't feel like making anything. So I ordered Thai house. Oh, they're for dogs. Okay. Whatever. You know. Right on. I think I'm going to do this from now on. Whenever I roll out a bunch of the same coils off of the same wire. They're out of Hong Kong. Right on. Yeah, I've just never heard of them. I found this one battery website that was selling batteries crazy cheap. Um, because I'm used to like, getting like a pair for like $20, $18, and I bought a shit ton of them at that price back in the day. And this time around, I ended up buying like 8 batteries to replace all the batteries that I had. And, because when I started vaping again, I just found all my old batteries, and, some were good and some were okay and some sucked and whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to replace all these guys. And so I started looking at where to get some. And I found this website. If you're interested, check it out. You'll shit your pants at how cheap these batteries are. Um, where is it? It's called the 18650 battery store.com. And that's what it is. 18650 battery store.com. So look that up, and you'll find all the classic batteries and a few that I'd never even heard of, like these gray ones that I'd never seen. Right? But I decided to give them a try, and they're great. There's nothing wrong with them. I used to have a purebred English Bull Terrier. Roxy would love these bones. Had a Norwegian elk hound crossed with an Akita as well. Paid far too much for these huge cattle femurs. $5 to steal. Lithium ion, 1850, 650, 8.7. 26 milliamp hours. Yeah, let me let me look up the specs on some of these batteries. 650 batterystore.com. So you can get 18650s, 18650 battery chargers. You can get 21700s. You can get live cells, batteries for golf carts. You can get marine batteries. I mean, it's a battery store. So Samsung 25Rs, 18650. Right. Which I think is what these guys are. Samsung 25Rs. I remember those things were super popular back in the day. They were kind of known as the workhorses. Yeah, these are Samsung 25Rs. I know everything's gonna be backwards. Let's just do this. Come on. Okay. Doesn't want to zoom in. Samsung Hazard, blah blah blah. Then you can get the pink Samsungs. They're 18650s with 3000 mAh. Then you got the Samsung pink batteries, the 35Es. Those are 3500 mAh. Then you have Molus 18650. And these were the most expensive ones on the page, which is why I bought these. And they were $6 a piece, right? These ones right here, they're $2.75, right? So here we'll just flip this around. I'll show you the website. But this is, since all they do is batteries. See, those are the gray ones. Yeah, see, it's 3500 mAh, but it's only 8 amps, right? These gray ones here are 35 amp. You know, yeah, the pink one, yeah, they're more amps, but more mAh, but they're only 15 amps. These ones are 20 amp. So these are beefcake. These are 30 amp. Those are 35 amp. What was this one? 35 amp. Amp, 15 amp. Then you get down to these guys, which I've never heard of, but whatever. It's 18650batteries.com. No, 18650batterystore.com. 18650batterystore.com. But it's like all they sell is batteries, from these to things that you can run your fucking marine batteries, golf cart batteries, all kinds of batteries. But since all they do is batteries, they've got, crazy amounts of them, and they can run, uh, they can go super cheap. You know, it's essentially like the store that people buy their shit from, in order to sell it, because you can make money at that price. But yeah, I mean, I've bought eFest, all the cool brands, and they're all garbage. Sure, they work, right? And they'll definitely work in something like this, because you've got protection and shit like that built in. But the true test is on a mech. This is how you can tell if it's a good battery or not. And that's how I could tell that some of my batteries are garbage. Like I'd try it on the Mac. One battery would just be smoking. I'd change it out after the battery got dead, put a brand new fresh battery in there, and it was acting worse than the dead battery that I just pulled out. I'd go and push it, and it would just be like, barely, it would eventually get warm, but was the only bones he took a week before destroying. 600-pound jaw. Oh, okay. I'll cross an Akita. Akitas are cool dogs. I had an ex that had an Akita. It was an Akita with something else, but had the fur and the curl and the tail, and real sweet dog. They ended up putting her down one day. She brought it to the vet for some regular checkup, right? And while she was there, you know how some dogs can like get to where they can't catch their breath, and they kind of do like the thing. Well, the cure for that, yeah, purple tongue. The cure for that is to plug either, you plug their nose and they'll breathe out of their mouth, and that like fixes it, and then it like resets something, and then they breathe normal. Well, like she was doing it for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds. And somehow they convinced her that what they needed to do was put her down. So they did that. And, yeah, that dog's buried in my backyard. The dog was... That should not have happened. It really kind of pissed me off. Yeah, Sony. Yeah, some Sonys are good. It really just depends on the battery, Like as you've seen, not all the Samsungs are really built for vaping, what was it, 8 amps? That's ridiculous. You could build coils that'll draw more than that. Yeah, the greenhouse is on top of her now. The one that's in the back. So... yeah, it was a bum deal, man. We basically they put her like in a plastic bag, and I brought her back here and buried her. It was pretty traumatic for homegirl, and we shortly after that we went dog shopping. So that's when we got Roxy. 22 years, and she was already 5 years when you had her. Oh wow. Okay, so they live a minute. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how old. I think the dog's name was Nikita, but she didn't have any gray or anything, you know. So I think it was bullshit. That was their decision. That was their professional decision. That this dog is basically having that crazy sneeze going on, right? And they're just like, well, you need to kill her. I don't know. It's a bum deal. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there does come a time, when the dog just isn't loving life anymore, and it kind of makes sense, you know. Oh, check it out. On this phone, I can do the green screen. How come I can't on the other one? See, look at that. I can do green screen on this phone. I can't on my other one. That's bullshit. Okay, let's turn the green screen off. Now it doesn't want to turn off. Carried her out for 6 months. She was ready. Yeah, I want to know, like, why. And now the green screen thing, the icon is just is gone. it's weird. So, yeah, the option is just gone now. So it's like stuck on, and that is just lame. Here, I'm gonna restart the live um, with my other phone, and I'll be back.